that help to meet the project needs. So the core concept of project management is scope, that is the deliverables, time, that's the schedule, and the cost, which is the budget. Project life cycle stages are the initiation stage, that is the defined goal stage. The planning stage, which is to create a roadmap. That roadmap will tell you, okay, at this point, we should be able to do this. At this point, we should be able to do this. That is a roadmap. The execution stage, which is you perform the tasks. After you've created the roadmap, that is, you've created what you needed to be done every week or before the next sprint ends. You then execute that plan. So which means then you execute each of the things that's supposed to happen by the end of every sprint. Then you monitor and control that project, which is as you are executing that and following the roadmap, your project manager is monitoring that project and ensuring that everything is going according to plan. You avoid scope creeps and like lateness in executing each of the project deliverables. Then the final life cycle of a project is closure. That is delivering and evaluation. So when you finish a project, you evaluate that project. Did it meet the scope? Did it meet what the shareholder or the stakeholder wanted? Did it meet the defined goal of that project? So essential tools for project management, we have Trello, which is a virtual board, which is virtual task boards and cards for simple management. You have Asana, which is project management tracking with timelines and team assignments. You have Jira. Jira is very, very popular with project management because it has agile tools for sprints, user stories, bugs. You can put your epic there. You can track your project there very easily. You have Slack and MS Teams. So we are using Slack right now. So you understand the importance of Slack and Microsoft Teams. So Microsoft Teams is also like a very good place to be able to track your project because then you can have all your team members on that website and you can be able to have your meetings, everything is planned. You have Confluence and Google Docs. We are using Google Docs in our projects. Google Docs is a very good place to arrange every document or every presentation needed for your project. You have Gantt charts, which is a virtual timeline tracking by MS Project or online tools. You use Microsoft Project to be able to like create a virtual timeline on your Gantt charts. And Gantt chart shows a lot of things, like it helps you keep track of your project. It helps you keep track of what needs to be done and what has not been done. So we have key project management techniques. You have work breakdown structure, which is also known as WBS, which is breaking project into manageable parts for clarity. Sometimes you can call that a sprint. You break it down into little bits, into little sprints. You say, okay, this week, this is what I'm going to do this week. This is what I'm going to be able to achieve this week. The next is the critical path method, CPM, which is to identify longest task paths and manage schedule weeks. So for example, now we are creating a website. So we're going to know that creating a wireframe for that website might be the longest. I'm not sure about that particular project, might be the longest task part. And then you have to say, okay, while we're doing this and this might happen. You create a risk schedule. This and this might happen while I'm creating this particular task in the project. So this and this might happen. So what am I going to use to mitigate these risks? Then we have agile methodology. An agile methodology is an initiative and flexible development widely used in tech. Agile is flexible in the sense that you have a lot of sprints or you have a lot of tasks. So it does not believe you must finish this task before you enter this one, which is where a lot of tasks is going to take a lot of time. And if you have to wait for each of them to be finished before you go to the next one, there's going to be a problem. So Agile allows you to be able to work on more than one task without waiting for the other one to be finished, which is why it is flexible. It allows you to be able to touch more than one thing. Then you have the Scrum framework. The Scrum framework has sprints, daily stand-ups, and retrospective drive process. So in this sprints and daily stand-up is mostly like, if you've ever used Jira, you see that in a sprint, you will have the user story, you have the task, you have the epic. So in that sprint alone, you're already been given a task, you will see how you're going to accomplish it and the time frame for accomplishing it. Then you have risk management, which is very, very important in project management. You identify, analyze, and respond to potential risks, in the sense that you will sit down, you will see, you look at the project. What is the possible risk to every task or every sprint or every stage in this project? What is the possible risk that we're going to have? You analyze that risk, and then you create a mitigation plan. You create a plan in case this risk should come out, so that you avoid scope creep and you avoid the project from not being able to be delivered or stopping. So the best practices for project management success at Bincom, we have clear goal setting, which is defined KPI and deliverables upfront. You have stakeholders engagement, which is keeping mentors and clients updated regularly. We have weekly sprint planning, which is to align and adapt through frequent reviews. So documentation, that is, we record decisions and lessons for knowledge sharing, like how we are now. So everything that we are doing in this KD session, we are sharing lessons so that other people that are here will also be able to learn. We have continuous improvement, which is also this KD session and your personal development. You continue to improve. You continue to improve using retrospective and feedback loops. That is, you hear from continuous improvement, that is, you hear from people that, okay, this is having a problem, or this is where you have issues. Then you yourself will go back and work on those things. Bincom internal project case study. So we are developing a Bincom event management platform internally. So what are the challenges of this project? We can say scope changes, which is possible because you might decide, okay, this is what we need, this is the scope for this project. And then the stakeholder will come and say, okay, I want to add this to this, and it will change the scope. The team availability. You might have decided, okay, Kolawole, Tolulope, Abubakar, Idimachuku, they are going to be on my team, and you're not sure. You just decided, but you're not sure that, okay, this and this these people are going to be available. So tool used in Bincom, in this case study, which is the tools that are normally used in Bincom, that would be Trello for tasks, Google Doc for requirements, and then Slack for communication, which is what we do. So the techniques that we are going to be using for this project will be agile sprints, daily stand-up, and retrospective. So what are the lessons that we have learned? We learned WBS and early stakeholder involvement are what? Critical. So we should be able to use those techniques that we explained earlier, and then Bincom's techniques to be able to carry out that particular project. That was just a case study. So common pitfalls to avoid in project management. The first and most important is scope creep. Control changes with structured change progress. There's something called change management in project management, is where you manage the change to each, let me say, to the scope. If there's going to be a change, then there's a way to manage it and bring it in without destroying the entire structure of the project. So another thing now to avoid is poor communication. Whereas now I've made a decision that, okay, We are not going to use only Trello again. We're going to use Jira, or we're going to use Asana for this project. Instead of me to tell my team members, I will just start using it, and then later they will find out, and this could cause an issue. So you have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to get your stakeholders to communicate so that you will have a clear guideline on what you are doing. Lack of risk planning. When you have a project and you don't plan for the risks, when they come out, there will be no contingencies. There will be no way to mitigate that problem. You will just have a fallout, and which might just destroy the entire project. You should plan your risks. Look at how high the risk is, because when you plan a risk, you say, okay, is this risk low? Is it medium, or is it high? So you look at how high that risk is, and then you create a mitigation or a contingency for that risk. Unclear roles. Now, this is another problem. Whereas in project management now you have the project manager, the project coordinator, the project planner, you have the business analyst and designer, and so many others. Whereas they don't know their particular roles, people will just keep entering other roles, and it will cause a problem. It will cause a problem. Whereas if I assign somebody as the project planner, then he'll be doing the work of maybe the Scrum master, or you'll be doing the work of something else, and it will cause problems in your projects. So practical tips for Beacom interns and team leads: start small. So manage mini projects to build confidentiality, which is what Beacom does. They will give you small projects that you can handle, so then you'll be able to build yourself confidently. Use agile tools. So it is best to practice with Jira and Trello. Me, myself, I'm still practicing with Jira, and I'm still learning Trello. Ask for feedback. When you do something in that project, you should have mentors, you should have people you should be able to ask. You should have people you're able to talk to. You go and meet them and say, okay, see what I have done. Let them tell you where your mistakes are so that you can be able to improve. Join PM communities, learn by forums, webinars, and events. There are so many PM communities. If you join the PMI Institute, that is the Project Management Institute, they have a lot of webinars, they have a lot of events where they train you. Beacom also has a lot of events where they train you. There are so many PM communities. Go on Twitter, go on YouTube, just Google PM communities and it will come out. And you will find out that there are so many people and so many places where you can learn more. Explore certifications. You can pursue a certificate of associate project management, a project management certificate itself, agile credentials for the future. There are so many project management certificates that you can have. You can write, there's a written exam for this certificate. You can study for it and you can write it, and to also improve your professional credibility. So the summary, our next step, we understand project management for fundamentals and tools. You apply the techniques like WBS and Agiles. You engage stakeholders and communicate regularly. That is very, very important. Engaging your stakeholders and communicating regularly. Avoid pitfalls through clear planning. You can avoid scope creep. You can avoid poor communication. You can avoid poor risk planning if you plan clearly. If you plan your project clearly and you follow each guidelines, if you communicate with your team members and stakeholders clearly, you will avoid those pitfalls. You build skills gradually and seek feedback. You can be a project manager. You see, there's something that they always say. They say, no knowledge is wasted. Even if you become a project manager and you've written the project management exam, you can still be learning. You learn a lot. A lot of the time, you see that business analysis enters project. You see that data analysis enters projects. So you just don't sit down and rest. You keep building your skill gradually, and you keep asking, okay, this is what I've done. What do you think? Does it make sense? Is it able to, like, is it something that will improve my my professional life, and so and so. So the next step is for you to start applying those learned skills in projects. Encourage peer collaboration and continuous learning. So you just like apply this, go, if you're a new project manager, you can be an intern. When you're interning, you apply the skills that you're learning to your different projects so that you can be able to improve those skills. So that when you meet bigger projects, you will not be shy, you will not be scared, you'll be able to confidently do those projects activities. So yeah, that is everything. Any question? Hello, does anybody have any question? Hello. Okay, Douglas, you can ask your question.
Okay. Because what you discussed about Trello and Jira, but
Yeah.
like for us now, we starters, we beginners, like if for instance now we have to give ourselves a task, like how can we start using these platforms when we don't have any kind of standard tasks we are supposed to do? Like you were mentioning, like you mentioned about creating a website, for instance. Now we as beginners in PMO, like I don't have ideas on how to build a website. But I don't just guess it's like if I'm studying PMO, does it mean that I have to know about other scopes or other fields like website designing, graphic designing and stuff? Or our job is just to understand how the platform works, but not necessarily like doing the tax itself. Let me if you get my question.
Yeah. I like to say a project manager is like a management of talents. That's what I like saying on my own, in the sense that you don't necessarily have to be a website developer. You're going to be managing a website developer. You just have to understand everything that is needed to create that website. You don't have to be the one that develops it. You don't have to be the UX UI designer. You will have that person under you. You have to manage that person as well. That person is going to be part of your team. Do you understand, Douglas? Douglas, are you
Yes,
there?
yes,
So
I'm
that
here.
person is part of your team. So, like, you want to create a project. One very important thing that you're going to have is the scope. What does this project need? What do they want me to do in this project? What is the timeline? What is my budget? Then you're going to need user stories. Okay, now, for example, I'm creating a, a website that is going to be tracking everything that I buy online. Do you understand? I'm creating a
Yes,
website
I'm
that's tracking
following.
everything I buy online. So now what is the first thing as a user? I want to know how much I spend in a week. As a user, I want to be able to track all my online businesses. As a user, I want to be able to track everything that I've bought online and when they will be delivered. That is your user stories.
Yeah.
Then you create your epic. Like your epic is like each task that needs to be accomplished with each sprint, which is where Jira comes in, because Jira has these things down, like where you're going to be able to put them, where you're going to be able to impute your timeline. It's not as if you wake up one morning and you learn Jira. You have to practice it. You can go on YouTube. There are so many videos. Even when you log into Jira, they will give you a tutorial.
Yeah, that's true.
So as a project manager, it doesn't really mean that you have to be a website developer. You just need a knowledge of, okay, this is what is needed. This is what they are going to do. Because you are going to be managing the website developer. You are going to be managing the UX UI designer. You are going to be managing the business analysts, because all these things are needed for that project.
Yeah, I understand.
Does that answer your
Just like
question?
yeah. Just like the saying, jacks of all trade, but a master of none. Something like that.
Yes. Very
Uh,
good. Thank you. Okay. Tunde said, as a project manager, how do we know which methodology to apply for particular projects, waterfall, agile, and so on? So Tunde, you know, it depends on what project you are managing. It depends on the type of project you are managing and the timeline. For example, now, if you are constructing a house, the best type of project to apply in that, it will be waterfall, right? Because waterfall is stage by stage. You cannot leave this stage without completing it and going to the next stage. So I would say it's waterfall because you have to get your foundation done before you start putting walls up. You cannot just start putting walls while doing your foundation. Do you understand? So I believe that each project methodology depends on the project. If I was okay, now I said I wanted to build an app that would track what I'm buying online. Obviously, I can work on more than one aspect of this project at the same time, which is agile. It allows me to be able to work on more than one epic or more than one task. When you're building a house, you must ensure that this foundation is done and it is ready before I will start putting up walls. You cannot do one thing without the other one being done. So, did you understand?
Yes, I do. Thank you, ma'am.
Are there any other questions?
Okay. I also want to ask: Can we use both, like maybe for different phases of the development life cycle? Can we use maybe for requirements gathering? Can we use waterfall, and then maybe in the development phase, can we use agile? I just want to know if you can co-mix those methodologies.
Okay, let me explain to you like this. There are a lot of companies that use something called a Wagile methodology. Are you following me? I will use TriTech as an example. TriTech uses Wagile methodology in the sense that they mix both waterfall and agile together. So in a lot of aspects of their projects, you see them using waterfall. Then you see in the next aspect, they're using agile. It all depends on what your company uses. Like in Bincom, we use agile a lot. We use agile. So you cannot decide, okay, I'm going to use waterfall or I'm going to use agile. You have to follow the methodology that is chosen by your company. What are they famous for? What do they constantly use? Do you understand?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Thank you.
Oluwaseun Aremo, you have a
Yes,
question.
yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I wanted to ask, like, before Agile and the rest of all these methodologies, like, how was it done before? Then what problem exactly did Agile come to solve?
Okay, I'm not going to lie that I don't know exactly how it was done before, but I know that because waterfall it's not flexible, it's very constrained, you must do this before you do that. It caused a lot of problem in the sense that there was now project delays. A lot of projects were not completed because they'll be like, okay, you must finish this particular place before you go to the next one. And then some stakeholders will lose interest. Then you start having budget rise. Then you start having, okay, because I was waiting for this now, and maybe I'm supposed to buy cement bags. And because I'm waiting for the person that is going to put iron on the floor, the price of cement has gone up. And then the price of cement has gone up. It is not going to be able to meet my budget. And then you start having budget problems. You will now have to go back to the stakeholder and say, okay, we need more money. Do you know if the stakeholder can give you more money? So waterfall was too constrained, which is why Agile was developed. Are you following?
Yes,
Are you following? So
yes.
Agile was developed to be flexible so that you can be faster, so that you can be able to complete more than one thing at a time. But I do not know what came before waterfall. And there are so many other methodologies, but the main ones that are very popular are waterfall and agile.
All right, thank you.
Any other question? Hello, do we have any more questions? In the absence of any question, you can just say no questions.
All right, I'm clear. No questions.
Okay. Miss Victoria.
All
I'm
right.
done.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Chiku. And everyone that has asked questions, thank you so much. Hi, Gimba, good morning. I noticed that you dropped your topic, and has it been approved on your slides?
I'm still waiting for the approval.
All right, so the procedure follows that the approval has to come before the presentation, right? So as soon as your slides are approved, you will be scheduled to present.
All right,
All
sure.
right, so thank you. Yeah, you want to say something?
No, thank you for letting me know.
Okay. All right, so thank you everyone for joining today. I hope you've learned a lot. I'm not a project manager, but at least I've been hearing about agile methodology, waterfall. So I'm waiting for the next one that will come out so that I can learn. Thank you so much, Sonto Chikwe, for the presentation. Just that your camera wasn't on, and I said so in the chat box. It seems you didn't see it. Did you see it?
I wasn't focused there, sorry.
All right. All right. So please, thank you everyone for joining. I look forward to all of our presentations. Do you have a productive day today?